I like peanut butter, Danny O'Dwyer likes peanut butter, and Winston likes peanut butter. It's time to talk about the ape scientist himself. Winston, what is this guy all about in Overwatch?
Yeah, Winston's a weird one, because you kind of think Winston's one character, but he's actually a totally different character. He's not your sort of big, bruising, massive damage tank that can run in and take on a massive bunch of people. But he's definitely capable of jumping into groups of people, taking out individuals, and then kind of fleeing very quickly. He's kind of a disrupting character, I'd say.
And key to that disruption is his mobility, which he has a jump pack, and that allows him to leap any direction you're looking. You can get high to elevation points, you can cover a lot of lateral distance, and that allows you to get into a place that your enemies are not expecting you to be and start mixing it up.
For sure, there's a tendency to sort of jump from the outside into the middle of a battle when you first start using Winston. The cooldown on it is a little bit longer than you might want in some situations, especially if you're in a fight, so it's often best used to get out of situations. So you can go in there, dump a load of damage using your Tesla cannon on an individual or in a group, and then sort of jumping out of there from there. Or if you see somebody who's fleeing, for instance, it's great at closing the distance. If you see an assault or a defense character who you're definitely going to be able to take out using either your gun or your melee, which is actually pretty strong. Winston takes off 50 damage. You can sort of jump, isolate one of them, and then murder them and try and get out as quickly as possible.
And another tool to keep in mind when you're doing this jumping in is your barrier projector. It creates a spherical shield around Winston wherever he is, and it's going to block incoming damage, which allows you not to trap anyone in there because people can walk back and forth through this barrier freely, but to focus down on one character who may be in the bubble with you while the people outside the bubble can't really support them by shooting you because the barrier's taking that damage.
Exactly. I mean, when you first use it, it looks like something that would be perfect for the payload, like Reinhardt's shield. It kind of disappears pretty quickly and is easy to destroy. So yeah, it's best used, I think, to jump into packs of people and to sort of isolate them from the pack. If 4 people are shooting at you, but you pop the bubble and one of them's in the bubble, they still think that there's 3 other people shooting you along with them, when really they're stuck inside of a bubble with a massive ape. So that's a really good, effective use of the barrier projector.
So you can jump in, do some damage, pop the barrier to keep that damage off of you, and then hopefully your jump out will be charged by then. But let's talk a little bit about the Tesla cannon itself, because this is a weapon that you don't have to aim at just one person. It chains to nearby people, and also in terms of aiming, you don't really have to keep the reticle on, so you are free to jump around a lot, and that disrupts people trying to get a clean shot on you.
Yeah, for sure. It damages multiple people, which is very handy. It means you don't have to, if you're not comfortable as a FPS person, for instance, this is actually a really good tool to use right off the bat. The Tesla cannon also able to get through Reinhardt's shield, for instance, also Winston's bubble as well, an enemy Winston, so there's sort of uses there. It's also impossible for Genji to block this, so if you're playing a Genji, he tries to use his deflect to stop you. It doesn't actually work, so he'll be there flailing a sword around while you're just dumping Tesla.
You're just zapping the crap out of him.
Into this dude. Yeah, it's a handy thing. It takes off a lot of damage. The only problem with it is you need to be very, very close, and this is Winston's sort of biggest problem, is that he doesn't have any range whatsoever, really. Even with his ult, you really need to be on top of people. So with the Tesla cannon, just be aware of that. You need to be pretty close to people, and then, if a lot of people are attacking you, get it out of there quick and live to fight another day.
It's also great for sweeping an area clean of Symmetra's turrets. Now let's talk ultimate, Primal Rage. He freaks out, he gains a ton of health, and you can just kind of jump around infinitely and punch people.
Yeah, there's a tendency with Primal Rage to then use it to jump in and try and kill everyone. And you should jump in and disrupt people, because you've got this massive amount of health and a large amount of damage, and you're able to jump as much as you can. But don't really focus on trying to kill individual people, because you're just going to punch them, chase after them, and try and punch them again. Use it more to disrupt people. So if you're on, say, an attacking team trying to burst through an area of the map, this is a perfect example of a situation where you should pop that ult, get in there, disrupt people, knock them out of the way, and try and get your team through there. If you're got an oncoming team coming towards you and they're all packing together around a payload, for instance, again, pop that ult, jump in there, and just knock people all over the place. Disrupt them, make them sort of upset in that way.
And if you can knock them back towards your team, all the better. They'll be even closer for your teammates to eat them up.
Exactly. In fact, there's something with Primal Rage, especially with new players, that if you pop that ult, they just run. They're scared of this massive ape running around.
Who wouldn't be?
I know it doesn't happen so much in sort of higher level play, because people kind of know Winston's limitations, but especially when you're first sort of playing Overwatch, it's a really powerful sort of mental game.
So there you have it. Play Winston as a mobile tank. Get in, do damage, get out, disrupt the other team, and hey, when you're attacking a point, the area coverage of that Tesla cannon is great for locking down close spaces. That's Winston for you folks here on our Overwatch Hero Guide. Stay tuned to GameSpot, give us a subscribe, and we'll be having more for you shortly.